Today we will look at mysterious and very exciting photos with interesting facts. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't lose the channel. Here is a rare medical instrument of the early 20th century, the Rissman aortic compressor, invented in 1915 by physician Paul Rissman. His task is to urgently stop postpartum bleeding by mechanically squeezing the abdominal aorta through the anterior abdominal wall. The design is simple and ingenious. The wooden handle allows the doctor to securely fix the device, and the soft upholstered part is pressed against the woman's stomach, blocking blood flow below the pressure point. It was one of the few ways to save a woman's life before the advent of modern medicines and surgery. The photo shows an early pneumatic spot heat detector, one of the forerunners of modern fire protection systems. Its principle of operation is based on the expansion of air inside metal capillaries when heated. When a critical temperature was reached, the pressure in the system increased and activated an alarm. This design was completely mechanical, did not require electricity, and was used in factories, warehouses, and trains in the middle of the 20th century. Its elegant shape is not a decoration, but the result of the right area of the sensor element for precise operation. The photo shows a mechanical ring sight from the Second World War, used on anti-aircraft machine guns and cannons. This design made it possible to quickly aim at the target, especially at low-flying aircraft. The shooter aligned the enemy aircraft with the center of the sight, and the rings and radial lines helped to take into account preemption, speed, and range. The sight had no optics. It was designed for intuitive aiming at fast-moving targets. Simplicity, reliability, and speed in combat conditions were its main advantages. The photo shows a railway firecracker developed by Standard Railway Fusee Corporation. This is a simple but extremely important alarm system that has been used since the end of the 19th century. The firecracker was attached with metal tendrils directly to the rail. When the train ran into her, an explosive charge was triggered, producing a powerful bang, clearly audible in the driver's cabin even with the full noise of traffic. Such a signal warned of an emergency situation ahead, an accident, repair work, or a stationary train. This is especially valuable in conditions of poor visibility, fog, or night, when visual signals lose their effectiveness. The photo shows an antique curling iron made in the Victorian or Edwardian style. It is a handheld metal device with decorative engraving and two curved handles. A heated metal rod was inserted inside, usually heated over an open fire, after which the curling iron was closed and a strand of hair was clamped between hot surfaces. This tool was used before the advent of electric forceps and was popular in the late 19th and early 20th centuries among women who aspired to fashionable curls. Working with it required skill and caution. Overheating could easily ruin hair or burn skin. The photo shows the central element of the yoke. It is a transverse wooden crossbar with metal hooks and a central hinge that transmits traction from a horse to a cart, plow, or other implements. The design allows you to evenly distribute the load between the shoulders of the animal, especially when used in pairs. The metal part in the center with the eyelet is exactly the element that you showed in the first photo. It serves as a loop for attaching to the cart or connecting to another link of the harness. Due to its mobility and strength, this mechanism prevents misalignment, injury, and ensures smooth traction, especially on uneven terrain. This is an important element of traditional harness, used in agriculture in Great Britain, Europe, and America until the middle of the 20th century. The image shows the embalming table Gleason's embalming board of the late 19th, early 20th century, designed to prepare the body of the deceased for burial rite in the house. In the Victorian era, it was customary to arrange a farewell to the deceased in the living room or the front room, and such tables were an essential attribute of a home funeral. The table is made of walnut wood, has folding legs and a perforated surface. The holes provided drainage of liquids and ventilation of the body. The set was complemented by a light white muslin canopy or black drapery with silk tassels, for aesthetics and decency. This object combined a utilitarian function and a ritual character, reflecting society's attitude to death as an integral part of domestic life. The photo shows an antique spinning wheel speed counter, part of a device known as a clock reel or yarn winder with a dial, used to measure the length of yarn being wound. When the handle turned, the drum rotated and the yarn was wound onto the frame, and the built-in mechanical counter, in the form of a wooden dial with a pointer, tracked the number of revolutions. Each turn corresponded to a certain length of yarn, and thus it was possible to accurately measure how many yards or meters of yarn were wound. After a set number of revolutions, there was a click or a bell, hence the visual similarity to the clock. This device was especially popular in the 18th and 19th centuries among home weaving and textile workshops, where measurement accuracy was critical before dyeing or selling yarn. The photo shows an antique travel inkwell, a popular accessory for travelers, writers, and the military in the 19th and early 20th centuries. The case was usually made of metal or leather with an inner glass ink tank, and the lid was tightly closed to prevent spillage en route. A special valve or sponge inside regulated the ink supply, allowing you to safely dip the pen even in motion. Compact, durable, and practical, this inkwell was indispensable in the era before the advent of fountain pens, especially in the military, scientific, and business environment. The photo shows old interchangeable teeth for an excavator bucket or plow, used in agriculture and construction in the 1940s. Such teeth were made of high-strength cast iron and mounted on the leading edge of the bucket to enhance penetration into the hard ground and protect the work surface itself from wear. Their pointed shape made it easier to tear up soil or crushed stone, and their removable design made it possible to quickly replace worn-out elements without completely disassembling the bucket. Sets of such teeth were usually stored in stock by machine operators and repairmen in case of field breakdowns and seasonal replacement. This elegant bride's glass, or Brautbecher in German, is a special wedding ritual object from Germany, with a rich history and symbolic meaning. As can be seen in the photos, this is usually a metal figurine of a woman holding her own cup above her head, often located above a larger, roomy base. The upper and lower vessels allow the bride and groom to drink from the same glass at the same time without spilling a drop, a tradition symbolizing unity, trust, and a harmonious life together. According to legend, an ancient blacksmith made such a bowl for the daughter of a noble lord to prove his love and skill. If a couple can drink from it together without spilling it, the father gives his blessing, and as the story goes, the lovers lived happily ever after. Such glasses were often presented at weddings, and were also used on anniversaries to symbolically confirm ongoing love. Nowadays, Brautbecher has become popular again among antique collectors and lovers of traditional rituals. An elegant and little-known object from the Victorian era, a porcelain hair storage box, also called a hair receiver. Despite its apparent simplicity, it had quite a practical purpose. Women of the 19th and early 20th centuries carefully collected the hair that fell out during combing, not throwing it away, but putting it in similar tanks. This was done not out of sentimentality, but out of everyday rationality. The hair was then made into a padding for lush hairstyles or neat jewelry, such as braided bracelets and medallions. The hole at the top served to easily push a bunch of hair inside without opening the lid completely. Such caskets often stood on dressing tables, paired with compact boxes and other accessories, decorated with elegance. Painting, gilding, porcelain, ceramics, or glass, the object was both utilitarian and decorative. This is an elegant handle from theatrical binoculars, a kind of lorgnette or theatrical binoculars, which were especially popular in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Such devices combined utility and elegance, serving as an obligatory attribute of a lady or gentleman in the opera or theater. This object was a pen holder, which was connected to the binocular body by means of a screw attachment. Holding the pen, the user could freely rotate and orient the lenses without straining his hands. After all, small 2 to 3 magnification easily shook in his hands. Unlike traditional binoculars, theater binoculars were more compact and decorated with decorative elements such as mother of pearl, metal, and engraving. The lorgnette generally consisted of optics for one eye with an elongated handle, which made it possible to calmly peer into the scene without wearing glasses. This is an elegant wooden pipe stand, an object in which practicality and aesthetics are intertwined. Such stands were especially appreciated among pipe smokers, because they not only made it possible to conveniently place the pipe in between puffs, but also served as a status element. Made of noble woods, most often rosewood, walnut, or mahogany, they were often hand-polished, acquiring a deep shine and smooth shape. The photo shows a rare artifact of underground gambling, a pocket roulette disguised as a pocket watch. Such devices were used in the 1930s and 1940s, especially in the United States, when gambling was illegal or strictly controlled. Externally, it is an ordinary watch in a metal case with a crown and glass, but inside there is a dial designed like a roulette wheel. The player scrolled the arrow, which after several spins pointed to a random number. This device allowed you to carry the game with you and place bets secretly, in complete privacy, from cigar clubs to railway compartments. Original copies are considered an antique rarity today, especially if the mechanism remains working. They are collected not only by fans of retro gadgets, but also by historians of the criminal underground and the gambling industry. This is a positional tool known as Scotch Hands, a wooden mold with a spatula and a press that is used in the artisanal process of turning cream into butter. After the cream is fermented and beaten into the butter pan, the formed curd is placed between two wooden halves of Scotch Hands, which are then compressed. This allows you to squeeze out the remaining buttermilk and form a dense block of butter. This technique is still used in farms where traditional taste and hand-forged oil are appreciated.